Welcome guys, Austeris here with yet another build for Grim Dawn. Today we're talking about Witch Hunter. Witch Hunter, Doombolt plus the Touch of Chaos combination. Which is, the build itself using apparently very popular two sets. A lot of builds are utilizing those. The Harbinger's Messenger set, 3 pieces of this, and another is Raz Zin's Torment, all 4 pieces of this. This is a downgraded version of the build, downgraded version if compared to if you're using this build in conjunction with Inquisitor class, right? Inquisitor plus Occultist. Nonetheless, it works to some degree. We killed all the Celestials with this, Mogodran, Ravager, Caligandra. We killed the Great Boss as well. Not with the first attempt, mind you. So we're gonna be talking about all good parts of the build, all bad parts of the build, early game, late game stuff. Because early game is played a little bit different from late game with this build. Alright, you see the Touch of the Chaos is only available when you get this Razin Tournament on. Alright. It's the 4-piece auto attacks bonus. Before that, we did utilize a little bit different tactic, and we're gonna talking about in details. I was trying to stay as close as possible to end game idea of the build. Idea is range damage, Doombolt as main damaging skill, and some auto attack skill, which is not derived from your skill book, right? But rather from some item or component. In our case, it was a component. We're gonna be talking about that. For now, we're gonna be demonstrating how the build works in a Shattered Realm.
I can't do that yet.
Are we jumping in level 64 Shattered Realm over there? Celestial Waystone. We got it.
The Shattered Realm spans eternity.
Have for Celestial, and here we go. Level 65 Shadow Realm. So this build rotate against, around, like I say, the Chaos, the Touch of Chaos, and the Doombolt. So basically, you are attacking the enemies with your Touch of Chaos, which just doesn't have much of AoE, and then you finishing everything with a Doombolt. Periodically you casting the Curse of Frailty. The Curse of Frailty has minus 25 chaos resistance reduction on it. You see like my health bouncing back and forth here pretty severely. We have here 20% life leech on this build. Okay, there was a couple of nemesis. Let's go and defeat one of those. So 20% health left life leech, but the build itself is very fragile. Only 12k health. This is how the Nemesis fight goes, by the way, in Shadow Realm. Easy fight, easy victory. So we did die a couple of times in early game, because how fragile the build is. Again, playing in this build with Inquisitor will provide you with more health. Right, with more health buffer than we have on this guy over here. And that can be underestimated. Okay, there's another Nemesis over here. Next Nemesis. Dead. Not a problem. Yeah, so that's cannot be underestimated.
I can't do
that additional health. Nonetheless, the health leech is just enough to do that surviving. All right. Apart in some circumstances, So we died only once in end game, which just was a player mistakes most of the time. I got hit by
I can't do that yet.
Nemesis, the Cthulhu Nemesis Eraztul, right? Notification. Rava Thul notification. I completely forgot the guy had the notification, so I wasn't expecting it. I was just staying face tanking him, and the next time, next thing I know, I was dead. Pretty much player mistake, but if he had a little bit more health, you also could probably survive for longer. Okay, so there's a guy with a notification, by the way. So you need to watch out him.
That skill's not ready.
Need to watch out that there is go notification. The slow moving projectile.
I can't do that yet.
And he's dead. You need to watch out for those things. Pay very carefully. You see, we also have a little bit problem with energy. Not something that using elixir of spirit, energy potion can fix fast enough.
That skill's not ready.
But yeah, it could be problematic. Okay, we're not pulling all the bosses here all together. Again, the question of survivability. We'll try to face tank them.
I can't do that yet.
But we're not fighting all of them together. Next. Oh, this guy is pretty bad, is it? Oh, he's here. But Doombolt doing a lot of damage.
That skill's not ready.
Like crits, we got almost 1 million crits with the Doombolts so far.
I can't do that.
Getting close to the 1 million mark. So you see, every time with the directly hitting enemies with Doombolt, it's a tremendous amount of damage. So if you're looking at the highest damage, okay, no mind. We went over the million. No mind. 1,754,000. I guess we done it with the Great Boss fight, right? We done quite a few times on the Great Boss. We done a few times early game, a lot of the times, 10 times I believe in early game, if not 12. 1,754,000 crit. That's making my it's the highest crit damage build I ever had. No joking.
Well done.
Enough of this. So that was a little bit of demonstration of what the build can, how the build can perform in this level 65, relatively high and I don't have space for this, damn it. So much loot just wasting there. I don't have space for it. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's continue talking. So early game, the starts of the build, late game, skills, constellations, all of this we're gonna be talking right now. Starting, I guess, with early game. What we're gonna do for early game for this build in terms of items. In terms of items, basically any other streamer gonna suggest you to just level up this whatever you want. Right, before jumping to the end game gear, just level up whatever you want. Probably the easiest way to be leveling up your Blade Spirits and Veil of Shadow plus Night Shield early game, and the Blade Spirits if you go in like the cold damage of on the Blade Spears, or if you change your Blade Spears, if you get this special shield for them, the Scarab Shell for Blade Spirits, which is getting this additional bleed damage to Blade Spirits. There is a second and bleed resistance. Okay, bleed resistance doesn't really matter. So if you get this shield, it'll be like pretty easy leveling up with the Blade Spirits early game. However, this is not what we did. This is not what we did for this build. And what we did, we utilized this item, the Bloodstorm Repeater. You can get it easier from, well, relatively easy, from a Blood Grue. There's a boss in the Blood Grue, which name I already forgotten. But if you go to, again, if you go to Grim Dawn Tools, right, if you check out the guns itself, oh my god, okay, I don't have the guns over here. I have other items to get a level up with, but not the guns. The Bloodstorm Repeater, that's the gun we're using. So we can check out where we can actually farm it. I do recommend it to farm it from a Bolwar. The Bolwar is a guy from the Bloodgrue. He has 3 spawn locations over there. You can see all of them on the map here. Like all of those 3 spawn location. That's very close to each other. But be careful with your level, right? We play in this build always on ultimate difficulty, and we went here at fighting Bolwar on level 26, right? He totally destroyed me. Level 26, so be careful. The recommended level to farm him, level 40, if you play in an ultimate difficulty. If not, well, you need to think about that. We went to farm him on normal difficulty, so still I would recommend it to around like level 40 to farm him. At least like level 36, that's where we kill him on my actual successful attempt. So we were using this Bloodstorm Repeater as a dual wield weapon. For that you can craft the oh my god, the talisman, the Gunslinger talisman. It's as early as level 20, I believe. Gunslinger talisman, level 25. Okay, so this level 25 gonna give you dual wield ability for your weapons. Again, if you play this build as Inquisitor build, right, that's why I call this downgraded version. You don't need the Gunslinger talisman. You can use a different talisman altogether, and you already have dual wielding ability here. So dual wielding this, giving you that 1.2 seconds recharge on your Doom Bolt, is giving you a lot of chaos damage to Doom Bolt. And I didn't mention this build is actually the chaos-oriented damage, right? Doom Bolt chaos damage and the touch of chaos doing the chaos damage. So that's but Doom Bolt still happening only 3.2 seconds along the way. All right, what else we're gonna be using here as to stay as close as possible to end game version of the build? For that, I did use Devil's Touch armor on my Bloodstorm Repeater. So it's giving you Demon's Breath ability. Right. First of all, we tried it with. First of all, we tried it with the Void Touch armor, the craftable one. It's giving you that Chaos Bolt bolt projectiles, but they only have 12% of weapon damage, and they're really hard to hit anything with. On the other hand, Devil Touch armor. That Devil Touch armor, this is a standard component. It's also have attack leech converted to damage to health, right? So you can benefit from health leeching. It has 150 weapon damage. It happens every like 3 seconds, but in conjunction with the Demon Bolt and your auto attack, which is benefiting greatly with from weapon damage, it's way better than Devil's Touch armor. Why? Again, because of the weapon damage. Great better than the Void Touch armor. Why? Like, again, weapon damage here and weapon damage on your auto attack. You will get a lot of chaos damage, flat chaos damage from different skills early on. And this flat damage not gonna be applying to this Chaos Bolt. Only 12% of that is gonna be applying. And that's significant, you know, lost in the DPS. So my recommended using an auto attack, Devil's Touch armor, Demon's Breath. Also on your second weapon, I recommend to use a Symbol of a Soil, right? because your Demon Bolt's gonna be pure chaos damage early on, this is gonna give you a little bit of a chaos resistance reduction, -10, and there's, especially later on, well, in mid-game, there's this Harbinger of Chaos, right? They have a lot of chaos resistance, probably the toughest mob we fought in a mid-game, and this -10 chaos resistance will be very important to fight, right? Another item I recommend to use on the build is Ruari Cord, right? It's a craftable +1 to Occultist, also plus chaos damage, random Doom Bolt on attack. Sure, why not? Why not? It work perfectly well as early game. And there's another item you can get pretty earlier. Oh my god, where did it put it? It's the amulet. Amulet. Oh my god, where did it put it? That's a sure. Okay, that's the World of Ring. We did use it for a Sigil of Consumption, but Sigil of Consumption proved not very useful in this regard. Where I put everything in this map? Okay, the Putrid Necklace. Putrid Necklace +1 skill to Occultist. Alright. It just works. It just works here. So, in +1 to Occultist. Recommended it early game as well. Constellation-wise, you want to grab the Soul Wishblade as fast as possible. So get something around mid-game and get the Eldritch Fire with additional -35 chaos resistance. So with that component that giving you -10 chaos resistance and Eldritch Fire, you have around -40 something chaos resistance in a mid-game, and it's more or less enough to fight those Harbingers. When we're talking about skills-wise early game, we just jump right into the Occultist tree. We started the Occultist, get myself Doom Bolt as close as fast as possible. Right, you can get it around level 20, and then there is a Soul Switchfire with well, defense ability to you, chaos damage flat, and some vitality damage with the second right as well, vitality decay over the second. It's helpful early game. Then we had Blood of Dreek for that poison resistance, for that offensive ability. It's very important to keep up with offensive ability in Ultimate, and we didn't have any problem with critting starting from early game to late game with this build. This build feature had a lot of critical damage, a lot of critical chance. Pneumatic Burst, that's going to be next skill you level up after all of that, somewhere in the mid game for more offensive ability again. You want Shadow Dance for more defensive ability, and 1 point to Shadow Whale and 1 point into Night Shield that I was using early on, plus obviously the Blade Barrier to get you from a bind. That's early mid-game combination of skills you want for this. Right, so that's early game done here, more or less. Let's talk about stats of the build, and then we jump into my gear and skills and constellation later. Stats-wise, like you see, we are featuring not quite big of a health pool, despite me going all the way into Physique. I'm usually putting all my skill points into attribute points, or say into Physique and Ultimate difficulty. It's just safer way to do it. We do have a couple of points in the cannon, 10 points to get some, and 2 points into Spirit to just keep up with requirements for my items here. We can remove this cannon and Spirit and put them on, into Physique. In fact, I only need enough cannon to get like 552, right? So we can remove a couple points of cannon over here. So, can remove some points with what else we have? Offensive ability 3400, more than enough to kill anything, to crit anything in the normal map. and successfully critted, consistently critting Great Boss and all the Celestials. So that was good. We don't need that much. We will be enough with 3300 here, and for everything else except the Celestials, 2600 defensive ability required. 3k defensive ability also provide you some survivability to here. Despite having low health, the defensive ability did pull its weight here. A lot of things just couldn't crit me at all, and that's help. That helps alongside with, I guess, possession, which is providing another 25% of damage reduction. Armor rating, armor absorption 92%. Rating not the biggest one, Resistances wise, we had lightning resistance. We played with some powders to get lightning resistance over 64%. Was enough to kill Mogadren. Poison acid resistance we get in all from Blood of Dreek. Piercing resistance over 27. Bleeding resistance over 18. So I'm using the powder here for bleeding resistance, 18% per bleeding instead of getting myself damage. You can maximize your damage for like Great Boss, for example, replacing this powder with Uruburuk Ward. I actually have 2 of them plus 18 bleeding resistance, never mind. So we can replace it with Osiris Temper. Right, flat chaos damage and offensive and chaos, more chaos damage. So we did it specifically to fight a Ravager, to have this at least over the maximum for Ravager fight. Vitality resistance 25 over maximum, Easy resistance 7 over maximum, chaos 20 over the maximum, and 24 points of physical resistance, most of this coming from Blood of Dreek. Secondary, the Touch of Chaos have most of its damage is chaos. Right, if you look on my Doom Bolt, you can hit for 135, 39k. All of this, most of it's the chaos damage. Right, the vitality decay coming from Soil Switchfire, I do believe. Secondary starts attack speed 170, which is not a bad attack speed for a dual wielding build. It's really hard for them to get two-handed build. It's really hard to get to that 200 to begin with. Critical multiplier 34% could make it a little bit better, and it's very important because we crit in very often. Run speed, health regeneration almost 600. I'll be using the constellation of Hungry Void, which is consume your health, like 300 health per second. So having this health regen is pretty good bonus. You don't need to rely on health leech, which is health leech. Life steal is 20% here. And another important stat is my bonus to chaos modifier, almost 300%, and it's going even faster, even bigger when you're getting all the buffs from the constellation active. Right. Secondary stats, stun resistance. Stun resistance was kind of hard to get for this build, so I did use the Leather Hide here, Leather Hide, and Runebound Topaz on both of my Javelries to get this 60% stun resistance. Again, we need over 50% stun resistance to fight a Great Boss. We should put my freezing resistance only like 51%. That's enough with Horde Frost Ointment. And that's basically all the major stats here. You already saw the highest damage, the highest crits, which is over the million, and highest damage taken from a maggot over there. Stats done. The gear, the Javel of this build. So we're using these 2 sets, the Harbinger Messenger. 2 sets. The 3rd set's bonus here is your Doom Bolt becoming getting like more like weapon damage. What does it mean to get weapon damage to Doom Bolt? Apart from getting actually a substantial buff to damage, it's also mean every time you hit it with a Doom Bolt, if you have some health converted to damage, things going on, basically life leech, you healing yourself to full health with hitting a Doom Bolt over here. So Mystical Mask of the Harbinger, 80% additional damage to Doom Bolt. Have Harbinger Aim, additional offensive ability, 5% defensive ability, and skill cooldown reduction. So our Doom Bolt has 3.7 skill recharge right now. We have Leathery Hide on it for that stun reduction, 25%, and a little bit of health too. And 12% lightning resistance as a powder. Another piece from this set is the crossbow, Harbinger of Eternal Suffering. So +2 to all skills and occultist, 2 skills to Doom Bolt. It does have Harbinger mark every time I'm critting. That's why I'm keeping this high crit chance. So 100% happens on critical hit, -20 resistance reduction. We did calculate that we have something around -120%, 25% resistance reduction to chaos for this build, more than enough to fight anything. Either the Great Boss or Celestial, more than enough. Both of them, like Great Boss and Celestials, don't have having around 90% chaos resistance. So, and last piece over here is Harbinger Grasp, 60% to weapon damage to Doom Bolt. We have Harbinger Grasp here as a skill, more chaos damage flat, and percentage to chaos damage. All this, the part of that set, apart from giving it the weapon damage to Doom Bolt, is also giving you the flat 35% reduction for target resistances for 5 seconds every time you hit it with a Doom Bolt. And it's also have this Harbinger. We did utilize this Harbinger in Kalagadra fight pretty often, so I would specifically trigger this, my health to drop to 50% lower, and get 750% additional chaos damage for 8 seconds. We also get in this chance to avoid melee projectiles, melee and projectiles 100%, basically making you invulnerable, but not in the fight with Celestials, because Celestials having AoE, and AoE doesn't count as melee or projectile damage, so they always can hit you. I also had on the weapon, I had Seal of the Void, right? More chaos damage and more attack speed over here. Next set is Raz Zin set. It's a craftable set. You can craft the armor and you can transmute armor in other pieces of the set. You need a recipe, obviously, for that. So the breastplate giving you a little bit of chaos damage. You have the piercing damage converted to chaos damage as well, which is doing not much for me. The full set giving you this Touch of the Chaos ability, right? This which you're using for auto attacks. Main hand damage 133%, and additional chaos damage. Chance to get 340% chance to 320% chaos damage, right? So we already have 3k chaos damage boost. So it's another like 300 from that. Pretty substantial. It's have like some reduction, 20% of target resistances for 2 seconds, but it's like very low resistance reduction. More importantly, this set giving you in general 15% chaos resistance reduction to Curse of the Frailty, and I have here a Tainted Platinum on this, and this one over here, the gem itself giving you additional 10% resistance reduction chaos to Curse of Frailty. So the Curse of Frailty have minus 25% chaos resistance reduction. Right? Yeah. So Titan Platinum on this because I wanted a reflecting reduction, 33% from Titan Platinum. We were dying pretty often to damage reflection early on and a mid game, so Doom Bolt hitting for 100k of crit, instant kill. There was the video I'm gonna link into to this when I'm dying into to damage reflection one shouldn't myself with damage reflection a couple of times, so you need to be careful about that. Obviously, it's easy to avoid. You just wait until the reflection shield disappeared, and then you're using Doombolt, which I didn't done, and yeah, that's one thing to care about. So, in order to not have any problem with resistance reflection damage in late game, I put a one Titan Platin here. We had 2 Titan Platins, so in general making a 66% reflected damage reduction. But apparently 1 is just enough to not kill yourself with reflecting damage. Tried multiple times, didn't die any single time from reflection. Didn't even put myself like lower than 25% of my health, which is shooting 1 Doombolt. You shouldn't Doombolt and you basically full health right away, because Doombolt leaches health as well. So second part of the set, Razin Gem. We're using the Seal of Ancestry here for additional health, vitality resistance, and stuff. And we're using Helmet here, thank you very much for following, appreciate it. We're using Osiris Temper here for additional chaos damage as an augment. It's from Cult of Dreek powder. I actually use it on all of my 3 Javelins, but because of like I want this bleeding resistance and lightning resistance as high as possible, I use something different over here on my rings. Third piece of the set is Shoulder Guards. Nothing to talk much about this. A little bit of health, possession +2, cold damage to chaos conversion, and we have living armor for that armor absorption here. And last piece is a belt, +1 to occultist. +1 to occultist, and that's basically what the belt doing, and that's all. Right, all this like dual blades and stuff, piercing damage converted to chaos, so whirlwind death. So this set is better like to use basically if you're dual wielding your Nightblade, which is dual wielding with melee weapon, which is Reverent. So that's the sets, the 2 sets, the cornerstone of the build. What else we using here? Javelins, the rings. I using 1 Void Heart here, which is providing this Curse of the Void. On a crit, 33% chance of minus chaos resistance, which is stacking with other minus chaos resistance. It's giving it +2 to possession, which is good, having those +2 in possessions. Possession meaning you're getting this damage absorption and getting more flat chaos damage, more percentage chaos damage. It's a good stuff to have. We're using Rune Bound Topaz for this stun resistance reduction, right? Stun reduction, as I say, and a little bit of health. So on both of rings. Second ring is Void Whisper Band, plus Hellbound, +2. We did try to play with Hellhound here. In fact, it's working alright in a normal, running it normally, because Hellhound can give you this bonus to Hellfire, bonus to flat to chaos damage and percentage to chaos damage. But the moment you jump into Shadow Realm or trying to fight Celestial, Hellhound died right away. So we'd switch to something different. But nonetheless, we're using this ring. For medal, we're using a Sigil of the Cthulhu. For offensive ability, for elemental resistances. But there's a different set, right? Different set you can use instead, especially when we have already like 34 over the maximum 3400 offensive ability.
Got something you need stashed.
So there was another thing that we can use. You can use 2 pieces of Blaze Seer. It's again, it's elemental damage. It's a chaos damage over there. And you can use it in conjunction with the ring for more less offensive ability, but well, more chaos damage in total. In fact, I think it will be better, work better than this one over here, than my Avoid Whisper. The Void Beast per giving me this freeze reduction resistance. However, right? Those guys not. So I kind of urge you to experiment, and I think it'll be working better. We can 2 pieces of a set is additional to 100% chaos damage. I was using this Blood Sigil again to get this offensive ability. This is just for offensive ability, but we ended up with more offensive ability than I needed. That's how it went. Relic here I'm using Decimation. The Soul's Decimation +1 to Occultist. Again, a lot of offensive ability and 100% chance of when hit additional like chaos damage to everything. We didn't got any good completion bonus. Any good, it could be like a Doom Bolt. You see we didn't max out a Doom Bolt or a Possession, so a little bit a good completion bonuses. Didn't mention what I'm using for Titan Heart here as a component on my medal. So it's just for this critical damage bonus and some like resistances with Vitality and Aether. And we're using a Rune of Dark Progenitor. I finally got it. You can get it from chest drop in Shattered Realm. It's a lot of chaos damage actually. When I crit in with a Rune of Dark Progenitor, it's like 200 something K crits. It's a lot. And it's also additional removing target's offensive ability, so it's not critting you already that often. And defensive ability, you're doing even more crits. For boots, I'm using Time Warped Walkers here, but there's a different boots you can use it. There's not many boots that provide chaos damage. There are not many boots. This one I choose because of, well, resistances. Just resistances. It suits me better, and it's giving me that physical resistance as well. So we're using Mark of Morgoth here, a standard kind of a component with health boost. Lastly, the pants, Demon Bone leg plates. It's probably the only pants that have like this chaos damage on them. Some defensive ability, so not providing offensive. And I'm using Scale Height for the 20% armor absorption. That's all the gear. That's all to is to the gear. Right, skill points. Occultist is the main class here. Main class, we started with leveling up enough points to get a Doom Bolt. Right, Doom Bolt is the source of that huge single target hit. It's doing all the chaos damage. It's also having this bonus crit damage as well. So we didn't max it out, but we have 21 out of 12 points here. Soul's Witchfire, flat damage to a Doom Bolt. Right, because the Doom Bolt currently had this weapon damage on it with my current set. So it's helping quite a bit. Second right as well, Possession for damage absorption. And flat damage to Chaos Flat and Chaos Percentage. We had 1 point into Curse of Frailty here, which just provided me like 7 meter, almost 8 meter radius for it, enough to hit everything. And my Possession, my Curse of Frailty does have -25 resistance, Chaos resistance reduction. That's what we're using here. We're also using it for triggering Hunger and Void. Blood of Drake, a source of that poison resistance reduction and physical resistance. No, poison resistance, I was saying, it's also providing me with offensive ability. So the combination of Blood of Drake, Demotic Burst, and the potion is what will keep in your early and mid game alive when you don't have like enough health leech. Well, you kind of have a health leech, but it's not exactly enough, so it's like emergency button, but it can give you like a huge health boost in the middle of like a fight with some boss. So that's the major skills here in Occultist. Nightblade, again, like I said, the Demotic Burst was important skill to have. Offensive ability, health restoration, 41% health when you press on it. Chance to avoid melee and projectiles, working pretty good in most cases, not against AoE. We do use an Elemental Awakening here, 22% this resistances for my elements, right, so it's kind of important. A Blade Barrier, 1 point, just to have this emergency button, 3 seconds of invulnerability. Anatomy of Murderer, right? So if we use Anatomy of Murderer here to get this just a little bit more cannon and offensive ability later when we're playing against Celestials and the Great Boss. Because before that I was using the Dog, the Hellhound, and the Hellfire, but because this build doesn't have any resistances for your pets, the Dog's dying pretty fast in the normal play. Well, relatively, like he's dying something around every minute or every like 45 seconds in normal play, and when we come into Celestials or Shadow Realm, it's just dying instantaneously. So that's why I remove the points from a Dog and put them in Anatomy of Murderer. If you're not planning to go for Celestials, the Dog is a better choice, providing you use more damage overall. Phantasmal Armor, soft capped here, piercing resistance armor, and energy absorption, pretty good to have. And we have 16 points in Blade Spirits. So in the current patch, putting your Blade Spears on a soft cap, giving you additional Blade Spirit, right? And Blade Spirit, we have Eldritch Fire in them, so we have 3 Blade Spirits doing damage every seconds, and have 50%. Every spirit have 50% chance to activate this Eldritch Fire with minus 35 chaos resistance, which has happened almost like a guarantee basically. So we almost guarantee have on the boss fight this minus 35 chaos resistance reduction. So that's a skill. Lastly, Devotions. Devotions are looking a little bit different from what we planned. If you remember that video on the beginning of the build, well, I'm gonna put all these videos down there in video description to this. We're playing all of this build on stream, and we have all of these playthroughs on the YouTube, so we can see and check out every single day of the build, how the build changed, what kind of items we are using, and what kind of constellations and skill point we were using from like a level, for example, 1 to level 40, level 40 to level 50, and so on. So I urge you to check out down those links. Anyway, it's different from what we planned. The difference is we using the Ghoul here, a constellation with the Ghoul Hunger. I put it into on possession, so every time I drop in a low, we had this additional physical resistance, additional attack, damage converted to health. It's helping a little bit, especially early in mid-game. There's not much of Constellation providing you with a chaos damage, right? So we have some placeholder Constellation just to enable the Dying God. Like you see, this is another build we don't have the Carrot of the Dead on it, despite starting on ultimate difficulty. It's a pretty good constellation, but they just couldn't like put it in there. Just couldn't find a place for it. So for constellation wise, you want to get the Soil Wishblade as fast as possible. It's some chaos damage bonus, but more importantly this Eldritch Fire, which is chaos resistance. You want to get it as fast as possible. For that we did use the Raven constellation as a placeholder. We use the Gould constellation, we use the Fiend constellation, probably the first one we started to work with. It does have this Flame Touched, 100% chance to an attack. I put it on a Doom Bolt, because again it's 100%, so it's giving this a little bit more pop for a Doom Bolt, which is happening every like 3 seconds, almost almost 4 seconds, but early game with double Bloodstorm repeaters, you can get your Doom Bolt up to 3.2 seconds. It's a good constellation to put them on. The Guardian's Gaze, well, it has also a little bit of chaos damage. We put it on Touch of the Chaos, my auto attack, 50% chance to happen on there. We also have the Hydra constellation. Hydra is for range builds constellation. It's providing with attack damage to health 5%, some movement speed, attack speed as well. Attack speed boost pretty good. So and it's also giving you this offensive ability and physical damage. Physical damage, that's why like we have this physical damage over here, right? When you look check out the skills, Dash of Chaos have this little bit of physical damage. This is what it came from Hydra Constellation, most of all. So we also had the Gallows, right? Gallows provided a little bit of vitality damage, flat vitality damage. That's why you're seeing this flat vitality damage in my Dash of Chaos and then Doom Bolt. This is coming from a Gallows. We have a Dog, we have a Eel Constellation. This is all to enable the Dying God. And the Dying God, for whatever reason, I forgot to put this last point in Dying God. Well, okay, not for whatever reason, we just couldn't, right? Just couldn't put this flat Chaos damage over here, because we got the Handgun Void here. Handgun Void, we put it on Curse of Frailty. So it's active health per second, but we have more health regen that we consuming with the Dying Handgun Void here. And it's a huge Chaos boost to your build as well. 370% and the total speed, and there's some little bit of Chaos Retaliation. It's a good stuff to have. Why we didn't have like the points here to put in a Dying God? Because I went and put this one into Abomination. Abominable Might. 20% chance to activate it. It's activated on the Burning Void. So what is the Burning Void actually? Burning Void is something we get from my set, right? It can activate it with this default weapon attack, and 60% chance to activate. It's activated pretty often here, and it's doing this additional Chaos damage and buff to Chaos percentage one. So that's all the Constellation, chat. That's all the Constellation. Again, from projected one Constellation, we were, instead of a Ghoul, I was using what I was using. I was using a Wretch, right? Wretch giving you like some a little bit of Chaos damage here. Wretch also 1, 2, 3, 4 points, and Ghoul 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So if you're okay to remove Ghoul and put this into Wretch, right? You can get this Dying God flat Chaos damage over here, and maybe this actually will be better because the Ghoulish Hunter was good early game. This 5% attack damage early mid game doesn't really matter. While 3% to health is okay, but yeah, it's late game. I just realized a Wretch plus the last point of the Dying God is just better than a Ghoul. Okay, so my initial planning was on point, and I just led myself astray in mid-game with the Ghoul Constellation, but yeah. You do want to have a Ghoul over the Wretch mid-game, late mid-game, anyway. So that's the Constellation. Final words here. The build performed pretty good, but not as good as I expected. So it's a downgraded version of the build with using the Inquisitor class instead of a Nightblade. The problem with the build is low survivability, low health, basically. So there were a lot of times in mid-game that I actually died because of that. Because of low health and stuff. Shooting myself to death with Doom Bolt, shooting into the damage reflection shield of damage reflection elite. So that's a problem. You need to watch yourself. Just don't attack with the Doom Bolt because you don't have like any resistance to damage reflection up until you get to level 75, right? What else to say about this build? it was able to kill Celestials slowly, not as fast as my Blade Arc build or my Unstable Anomaly build, way slower, but way faster than some other range builds, like for example Panetti's Vitality range build. I would say we didn't take longer than 10 minutes to kill this single Celestials. It was like a 6 minutes for a Celestial that we had. Caligardra was probably the easiest fight, the chillest fight. I did accidentally die on it, run buttons and stuff, but overall it's an easy fight. The crate was a little bit harder. You see, like my DPS over here with Touch of the Chaos is like 87k. It's pretty low DPS. Yes, we crit in a lot. Yes, we get in a lot more over the 100 DPS when you get in the buff. But it is kind of low DPS overall compared to other builds. It's not obviously it's not including damage from Doom Bolts and stuff. When I was fighting the Great Boss, when I died first like 4 attempts, it did feel like I have not enough like damage to kill it. Last attempt, we were more precise with my Doom Bolt, and apparently we did have like enough damage to kill the Great Boss before we do the last lap. So there's the last link to the last day of playing this build. It's the one with when we killing the Great Boss, by the way. So you can try to check it out in this video description. See how does it happen, how we're fighting the Celestials with the Owen Lies. Anyway, the build could be better with Inquisitor class, that's my general thought. But it's also possible to perform with Nightblade. Also, by suffering this survivability problem, by having like way less health that you should supposed to have with Inquisitor class. Resistance reduction for both builds, I would probably Inquisitor 1 or Nightblade probably will be the same, so there's not a problem there. Maybe Inquisitor will bring a little bit more damage to the table in terms of chaos damage. We had to take it out, to check it out and test it myself. Thank you very much, guys, to watching this, to staying with me to the very end. I really do appreciate it, all the follows today on Twitch, and super will be appreciated for this follow button on YouTube. We do want to get this 1k followers there, so guys, like, we'll be really grateful for you to play this, to press on that subscribe button. Take care of yourself, stay safe, whatever you're doing, have fun with it.